Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out, right? We are all learning together that God's got this thing all under control and we can just trust Him for every single moment of every single day, right? Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. Man, this has been quite a journey. For 5.5 years, we've been talking about God's peace and it's amazing. And you know what I love about it is it's always on, right? We can always talk about it more. We never reach that end to go, well, I have nothing else to say about God. There's nothing else. Now, sometimes our words fail because God is so big. He's so amazing. This morning I spent time, I got a new translation of the Bible, so I'm going to try to read it through and just mark it up all I want. I'm going to mark it, put references in it, and do all kinds of cool stuff with it. But I'm just going to take my time. I was going to try to read it by the end of the year, and I started reading Genesis 1, and I'm like, you know what? There's so much in this chapter. And so I read chapter 1 probably 3 times this morning, just looking at what God made with His words, by the way. God said, God did, God made, God put, God placed, God spoke. You know, all these things that God did. I'm just going to stay there in that chapter until I'm done. I don't care. I'm having fun. So I'm just going to stay there till I'm done. And it's so amazing that we never get done talking about what God has done. Because when God does something, it's not just a one-time event. It's always impactful forever because He's an eternal being that can't be limited. We limit things because of our mind because we can't comprehend them if we beyond that, right? And so we tend to limit things and we try to put God in this little box so that we can understand Him, but we're never going to be able to understand Him. He's infinite. He's eternal. We're eternal beings. See, what He created is eternal, right? I mean, it's just amazing what God has done in this world, in time, in eternity, and in our souls. And that's what we're actually going to talk about today. So before I got stuck in Genesis 1 this morning, I was in Psalm 66. I don't know who wrote Psalm 66. You know, we attribute so many of them to David. It just says it was written to the chief musician and that it's a psalm. Now, I don't know the difference between a song and a psalm. I need to know that. A song, I guess, is just a song. A psalm is just a psalm, right? As a psalmist, I should know that. I should know the answer to that question. How dare me ask a question I don't know the answer to? No, that's perfect. That's why we want questions. Questions are awesome because they help us discover something new about God. God is not afraid of your questions. God's not afraid of us even going, God, this doesn't make sense. I don't get this. I don't understand this. Why would you do this? All right. He wants our questions and He wants us. He wants our soul. So down through this Psalm 66, evidently they've been in a battle. He's talked about making a joyful noise to the Lord. He's talked about the greatness of God's power, which is what I read about in Genesis 1. You ought to read it again. Just read it again and read it slowly. Just read it slowly and ask yourself all those questions. You just said it and it happened, right? Ask yourself those questions. It's amazing. So he's talking about how God made the earth and how His works and how the earth is going to worship Him and going to praise His name. And, you know, we know if we are silent, the rocks will cry out. Jesus said, well, ain't no rock going to praise for me, right? I'm going to praise God. And so He talked about going through the Red Sea. He talked about that God had tested and refined us and brought us through affliction, brought us through the fire, brought us through the water. That's right out of Isaiah 43, right? We've done Isaiah 43, I don't know how many times, right? It's right out of that. He goes on. And then down in verse 16, I had to stop because the psalmist says this, come and hear, all you who fear the Lord, and I will declare what He has done for my soul. For my soul. So I'm thinking about that. I'm meditating on it. And I'm going, that is just an amazing, and there's even more to the psalm here, but I stopped there because I'm like, I'm going to declare what He's done for my soul. I'm not declaring even the creation, although that's an amazing thing that just is beyond our little finite minds to even comprehend that God spoke things into existence that are still producing seed, still producing animals, still producing humans now, right? Humans He made by hand. But He didn't say, I'm going to declare the victory over the enemy. He didn't say, I'm going to declare how he healed my body, although he may have healed his body. God may have healed his body. He may have raised his children up. He may have made him prosperous. He said, God has made me rich. He didn't say that. He said, I'm going to declare what he did for my soul. What does he do for our soul? That's where that peace is, right? Our peace, that peace that we have in God comes from inside that soul, that mind, our will, and our emotions, that part of us that's not going to die, that part of us that makes us unique, because our emotions are all so different. Mine are different all day long. We won't talk about that. But he said, I want to declare what God has done for my soul. Well, what has he done for you? So let me ask a question. I'm a question queen, by the way. What has he done for your soul? I don't want you to look at your house. Maybe he provided it. That's awesome. Of course he did. He provides for us. Don't think about him healing your body, even though maybe he did. He's healed mine. And I know I've got stories of healings that happened in my family, times that he has healed, me and my mom and my uncle. We have these stories where he's healed, but he didn't say, let me declare what he did for my body. He said, let me declare what he did for my soul. He gave me peace. He doesn't go on to say that, right? But we can say that. Hasn't he drug our soul through the pandemic? Hasn't his peace pulled us out of all of that? Hasn't he established our soul before him? And where we know we can come before God, he's redeemed my soul. He redeemed my body. Right? My body's still just getting older every single day. And boy, do I feel it sometimes, right? My body's in the natural process, and it's going to stay in that natural process. He didn't redeem this body. He redeemed my soul. He redeemed that spirit, man, that part of me that's going to live forever. He redeemed me. He gave me peace. He loves me. He pulls me out of the miry clay of life, and he put light in my soul. I don't walk in darkness in my heart, right? He put light in my soul. He put life in my soul. He placed his peace there. I'm going to think about today what he did for my soul. That's not something we can see, so it's hard. It's hard to go, what did he do for my soul? I can't see his peace. I can't see his love. I can't see his redemption. I can't see the things that he does for my soul, but boy, do I feel him down in my soul, right? So I'm going to think today not about anything I can see that God has done, but I want to think about today those things he's done inside, where only I'm the only one that can see it, the only one that can feel it, that can know it for sure. And I'm going to think about how he gave me his peace and he never took it back. Well, I'm thinking about that today. We're going to peace out and let him have this day. You want to join me on that? That'll be a lot of fun. Let's do it. Peace out. Have a great day. See you again tomorrow.